execute the criminals if they've been on death row.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want.
UNC for Wale.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
BNM must go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
Tell them go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
BNM must go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
Everyone's coming out to bring about a change.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
I see young and old, we crying out for this.
Rowdy at a go.
Yeah, one tap. Government to drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do work, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea, now without the ball head man everybody.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
BNM must go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
Tell them go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
BNM must.
Yes, indeed, of course, my apology, my distinct, my profuse apology for the break in transmission. The damn thing just freezed up, as you will have noticed. But of course, determination, grit, and a will, commitment, and a total focus on making certain that the information reaches you. You see, we cannot depend on CNC3, we cannot depend on TV6, we cannot depend on TCT. We have to depend on ourselves to, of course, get the information and experiences that all of Trinidad and Tobago is experiencing, that the media believe that they could hoodwink and deceive, and of course paint a utopia, when in fact Rowdy and they have created, of course, a dystopia. Welcome to part 2 of this Monday night edition of the Corridor Transformation. We are not going to relent. We are going to be as constant as the Northern Star, and of course and as decisive as any decision for the, one may say, resurrection, one may say the amelioration, one may say the sustainability, one may say the survival, one may say, of course, the resuscitation of Trinidad and Tobago, all of that, and the young people must play a vital part in that regard. Yes, indeed.
Government to drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do work, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea, now without the ball head man everybody.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
Rowdy at a go, go,
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
Tell them go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy at a go.
Rowdy at a go.
Rowdy at a go, rowdy
Now
at a go.
everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. The Rowdy time to resign. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. When you see him waving bye bye.
Yes, indeed.
Coming from the court, that my
affairs. You are available to be questioned by every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because you are managing their affairs.
Let me go quickly, of course, to the topic of the moment that I want to share with you.
Once you are in the political arena,
Yes, indeed.
you
Listen to
are
it.
available
That's
to be
hypocrite.
questioned by
Today is
every
self-righteous
citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because you are
fake
managing
news.
their affairs.
Fake news. Fake. And he has to tell us where they get the money from to build Balize House. He's skirting around it. Look at there. But he knows, of course, that if you are in public office, you are entitled, of course, to be subjected to questions by the public through the media. But he believes that he could be some kind of political kobo and eat off the carcass that they would normally generate as delicacies. And we have seen where in this particular instance, where his hypocrisy has, of course, magnified. His hypocrisy has magnified. You see, he told us at one time that them magnificent 7 buildings, his vanity project, was the best thing since sliced bread. And then, on the other hand, as if the man suffering from bipolarism, schizophrenia, or split personality, whichever, we always would have had that side of him that is evil. So he tells us now we must dispense with, of course, our colonial past, even though he spent a tremendous amount of money on the Magnificent Seven, including, of course, the President House, the Whitehall, Stolmeyer Castle, Milfleur, the Bishop House. You saw it there, as well as the Red House. And afterwards comes and tells us, take off the 3 boats of the emblem because it reminds us of our colonial past. Them buildings, it reminds us. And it is clear now, the whole intention is to thief money because he has to change all of those monies, how much notes there are in the country, and you're talking about billions. How the hell you're telling us it won't cost much? That is arseness. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome, Granny.
Good night.
Good night, my dear.
Lennox, man.
Yes.
This is Granny.
Yes.
God bless all your boys, and God send all you to save Trinidad and Tobago. Granny, just wait to hear you. I enjoy this program. TC, Heavy, all your program, Workers' Right, and Robert, all you have Granny alive by hearing all you and hearing the truth from all you. God bless all you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Granny. When you get blessings like that, nobody could come against you. Who God bless, no man curse. And evil cannot prevail over good. Look. The bishop's house, he renovated. Look at there in front of you. And behind me. He renovated that. That's the bishop, that's the Anglican bishop's house. He renovated. But he don't want any symbol of our colonial past to be in our faces. I wonder who would be visiting there. Look, the other one, Milfleur. That's the Milfleur. He renovated that too. At a time when he said we didn't have money. But want to change every single $100 bill, $50 bill, $10 bill, $5 bill, $1 bill, and the coins as well. That man is an ass. Look, you just saw, of course, Whitehall. He renovated that too. He renovated, of course, that is the President House you're seeing there. He renovated that too. How does that equate? How is that concomitant? How that is consistent or parallel with a man who wants to divest himself of the colonial past? He's just doing things because he has the treasury at his disposal. It is clear. How the hell? And look, Balize House. That's when it started. It started like that. A car park. Look, the seal going up. Yes, we have all the information and we will share it with you because it was he who said that Balize House had no money. Look, at another stage of the construction of Balize House. Over $100 million. Look it again from a different angle, the old one, and then of course the car park that is now a mangle of steel, brick, mortar, and now glass. They're putting on glass now on the building. I'll show you that by weekend. Yeah, this thief, this kleptocrat, this deceiver, this wicked, asinine specimen of inhumanity. Look at there. And make sure and capture, of course, the sign so you will know that that is Balize House. And you will see the finished product, where they get the money from. But he has the audacity to tell us that whilst in government, we have a duty, of course, to question them because they are working for us. But when he is questioned, he buffs and he, of course, rambunctiously and find the very choice, acrid words to dismiss the media. Look him there with his ugly face. What's the building? But the building is beautiful, but it is blood money. Blood money from those that he took from the senior citizens, from our children, from those with cerebral palsy, the sick, and the downtrodden. He taken from the hospitals, in other words, and subject us, of course, to disease and the lack of medicine in the hospitals. But we'll build the buildings because it can line their pockets in the construction stage. And that is what he ended up with. But that has to go on what? On every single note that we have. It's billions of notes that we have in various denominational or denominations. $1 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill. But he's telling us that it wouldn't cost much. I'm trying to direct our attention only to the letterheads of various ministries, including that of the Prime Minister, which could easily be, of course, adjusted by a computer, a domestic computer or office computer in the office, wherever they are. They can easily change that. But you cannot easily change. What he tells you to do, take a $100 bill or a $1 bill or a $5 bill or a $10 bill or a $50 bill or a $20 bill, photocopy it, and then, of course, paste on the new emblem, the pan on it. That's what this ass is telling us. That is a tremendous amount of money. The cost I'm talking about for replacing that emblem with the pan, or putting on the emblem with the pan, not on those that exist now. He has to discard all that money and print new ones. And he has not addressed that in any degree of clarity. It's something similar, of course, to property tax. Property tax is the law now. But they didn't know and haven't given people a deadline, as they did, of course, when they wanted to thief from our mattress the $100 bill. Give us a deadline, because they love a rush. They love to put people in pain and anxiety. Some people, I'm sure, might have died from, of course, the exhaustion and, of course, high blood pressure, as the case may be, to try to meet, because people don't want the government, draconian as they are, and, of course, imposing, as we have seen only the day before, when they broke down bulldozer as excavators and men. Break down a so-called squatting community without any empathy, sympathy, compassion, or compunction. Heartless, brutal, and injured. What and how much it will cost to change the monies, the dollars, the coins, 25 cents, 10 cents, to put, of course, the new emblem with the pan on this money. You have to, of course, recommission somebody to produce an equal amount of money that you have in circulation now with the new emblem. But this backside of and a half is telling us that it's all right, it won't cost much. Anytime they tell you to stand up, you run. Anytime they tell you to close your eye, you open it wide. Yeah. And when they tell you to sit, no matter how much your feet may hurt, stand the hell up. Because they are people of opposites and have no compunction to tell you a lie because they are people infected with manic depressive psychosis. Manic depressive psychosis. All of them. They have no sense of reality. And they, of course, go in a little cocoon, whether it is, of course, in that blood money facility called Balize House, blood money, and sitting there and concoct evil to impose on the people. And don't tell me you sycophants don't know, because if you're not working, as so many of you are, or you depend on URP and so on, as so many of you are, you don't know the little shack that you have in Laventil, East Port of Spain, Sealats, etc. You will have to pay property tax too. You don't know that, eh? Well, just wait. Just wait. Kamala Prasad Bisasa, and they say they will what? They will rescind. They will take away that property tax and that burden that Rowley and that bunch of beasts of burden in human form, beasts of burden in human form, jackasses in other words, that can only conjure up evil for the people. Not a single project, a single initiative, a single proposal. And while I accept that they're very good in terms of multiple and prolific proposals, not one of them has functioned to ameliorate or to assist the population to live a better life. And none of you could be, of course, comfortable. None of you could be optimistic that Trinidad and Tobago will get any better under this albatross of individuals assembled by Rowley, and now he wants to leave, but at the same time not leaving. It's an oxymoron, but you understand where I'm coming from. He wants to leave, but not leaving, because he is fearful that those who he leaves behind, not only would they be doubly or triply incompetent and unable, of course, to continue with this criminal enterprise that he has created out of a mafia type, what I consider to be structure, a mafia type configuration, a mafia type architecture. Afraid, hesitant. His reticence in that way is extremely conspicuous. He hesitating. He hedging. He want to make sure, of course, that the Chinese man is well ensconced in the position. So he wants to chaperone that. But the people of the East-West corridor, he feels that they ain't looking on. Haven't told them that he monkey and he know how they treat black Africans, not only here but in the football fields, etc. And that he's a proud black man. That's what he told the African community. And then led, of course, places like La Brea and Point Fortin to political, social, and economic suicide. Suicide. Yes, indeed, of course. Let's go straight to the lines. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox. How are you, my brother?
But of course, fine. See, yes, people that is Dada on. Thanks for calling because we had a little break in transmission, but we were able to resolve it and we are back on track. Of course, but what we can do for you tonight?
My brother, I lost communication with you for the past few days because through the pan and the things on George Street and Nelson Street. Remember, we have plenty things that's going on in wrong part of Spain.
Yes, man.
And I'm a big part of it.
Yes, man. Yes,
so as soon as you're being on, give you a call. If I don't know you going, my brother.
All right. Well, of course, as could be in this circumstance, we are working hard. I expect, of course, that the British High Commissioner, she had, of course, a promise to pay us a visit. We are looking forward to that. And, of course, we are preparing some dossiers, at least two by now, because they're very hefty documents, to send, of course, to Washington, the State Department, in order, of course, to complain about the Rowley administration and the evil that he has, of course, perpetrated on the people. And at the same time, we are still waiting for the 100 million that he says he wants Imber to find in order, of course, to treat with communities such as this, which, of course, you have laid down your bucket and you have, of course, committed yourself to. And, of course, there's so many persons that you have influenced, particularly the young people, to stay away from crime, remove from our life of crime, and, of course, reduction of the so-called borderline, as well as, of course, those persons who are engaged, of course, in, of course, gang warfare, killing themselves. We say convert that to votes. Go and register. We are telling them that, not so. Go and register and convert that to votes and break down the borderlines, as you have to go in respective communities in order, of course, to cast your vote, because the country you save will be yours from this bunch of opportunistic political parasites led by, of course, a pedophile and a rapist called Keith Christopher Rowley, pretending to be some kind of prime minister. All your tales. Yes, my friend. Any other thing you want to talk about?
Brother, two things I want to raise.
Go ahead.
EBC, to get your ID card now, you have to get your birth paper and all these things to renew ID card. Because people come into my store and saying that they're going to renew the ID card and they have to work with the birth paper and things to renew. Is that something now start to... and light bill and all this?
Oh yes. A new development people, yes. I think that's a new one. Working with a light bill to show where you are living. Them getting on as if you're going and buy furniture and you could scam them, so therefore they want to make sure, or you're going and take out maybe some kind of internet service. I mean, once you walk with before that, you walk with your birth paper, and that is it. And you give them the information, and then they go and verify it, and that's it. But
and then it's a Lennox, but
where are 18-year-old? Where are 18-year-old getting not a birth paper, but a light bill or a telephone bill if they don't have, because they have not yet reached the age of maturity and gathering that kind of asset. Go ahead.
But a renewal as you we talk about the first time, a renewal. Remember the documents is not inside the computer, the system.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, Mr. Trinity, just hold on. I have Dada on the line here that is giving some vital pieces of information. We have some more tomorrow, but I think what he has to say is very important. Go ahead, Dada.
Right? So it's not a first time as a renewal. So I'm going to renew my ID card.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to birth paper and these documents to renew.
As well? Wow. Yeah.
And these the things what they put in place to stop voters. Because remember now, it's
Yeah, the
corruption.
plan really and truly is to try to frustrate the electorate, which of course is a matter that we are taking up at the level of the corridor, at the level of the ground report, and the level, of course, of our own political party, Love, as we send it, of course, to the United Nations and other places to show where, of course, the government has deliberately devised mechanism to try to prevent the persons from exercising their franchise, as of course the Privy Council had noted just before the local government elections.
And I'm a great Mr. Lennox. And secondly, we bring him back mass importance. I had a nice dialogue with the community of Carnival
Okay.
for Porterson for George Nelson Street.
Right.
I Lucky Jordan.
Okay.
So we get him back with bleachers, we get him back tents, and we hope mass will pass.
All right, great.
Right?
Right. Well, we'll get a chance, of course, to work that out.
So
I'm not too concerned under the Rowley administration, but certainly that is a valid and real possibility under a Kamala Prasad UNC administration, where we will get the appropriate funding and, of course, bring back the community to a peaceful nature, so that, of course, all the economic activities can continue. People can come back, of course, in East Port of Spain. And, of course, the owning of these buildings must be for you, well, of course, if you are one of the tenants there, or the parents and the senior citizens and the generations that were the original ones. But it's only under Kamala Prasad Bisesa that is possible. So all of us have a responsibility and an interest to make sure that the PNM gets the hell out of East Port of Spain, the Laventils, etc.
And that's why we on the ground to make it happen.
Yes, man. Thank you very much.
So,
Of course, we'll see tomorrow. Yeah, bye-bye.
So you and your staff, enjoy your night.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was, of course, Gabriel, Dada Gabriel, sorry. The gentleman, of course, a very long time ago, we got the Indian High Commission to sponsor a trip to India, where, of course, he took an entrepreneurial course. And now, of course, he's using that talent to assist others who are engaged. And then, of course, he has expanded his own business, of course, in these parts. He has a business on George Street. He has one, I think, two on Charlotte Street. So he is, of course, making waves as well, making use of the opportunity. And what that says is that if he could do it, anybody could do it, because he was born and grown in East Port of Spain, and in particular between Nelson and the George Streets. Pleasant good night. Welcome, of course, Mr. Trinity.
Pleasant good night, Lennox. You missed out one part of the introduction to our term, you know. You had to say that your partner will be teaching you to dance to on a Friday.
No.
So,
I just teach him, and I still teach him.
Yeah.
Pleasant good night, but hold on, caller. We have Mr. Trinity on the line. Go ahead, Mr. Trinity.
All right. So basically, as he was mentioning there, we're talking about the EBC and them for you to get, for these young ones to get the ID and so forth in order to do the civil duty of voting.
Yes.
And they're gonna get red tape. They're gonna get red tape. We could see the red tape is gonna be taking place, and we know that is a fact. So we have to either put pressure on the EBC to get them to make it more smoother for the first comers. You understand? No big sort of thing with them. There's a birth paper, or at least a birth paper, and maybe some other kind of proof of address, if they want to say as thing. But don't make them go through WASA. Where they gonna get WASA bill in their name?
I just want to understand that kind of logic. That is this reminds me of the difficulty the average person would have had in colonial times to vote. You know, it is as though it's a revisionist kind of scenario, where they are living, of course, in the past. I think it is called, of course, and there's a term for it, but go ahead. I will get it in a while. And yeah,
Yeah. So I think definitely
anachronistic, you call it
some
anachronistic.
of our heads.
Yeah.
hmm Some of our heads of lawyers and them should start looking into this before
Yeah, certainly. Well, now that he has told me that, because I wasn't
stable.
aware all that complication existed, so I will be talking to, of course, some lawyers that have volunteered to assist us here on George Street in our empowerment center. So I will certainly look at that, because they too are extremely concerned about what is purporting to be or attempted to pass for government and governance, where they're trying to stymie the electorate and, of course, engage in what is called auto coup.
Yeah, but the next one more thing.
Go ahead.
Considering this Kobo guy, this Canal Kongs man, I know the long time he ain't give him good names yet, but this man that want to destroy everything, sell out everything, pipe out everything before he
Well,
leave.
since he loves Africans so much, you can't miss calling him African snail. Total poison.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah, total poison.
He like
African snail.
All over the place. He man all over the place, and every time we try to get rid of, he just coming up more.
I tell you, and as somebody said, now we have African snails all over the place, in every nook and cranny, every farm, every plot, every holding. You have that. You bring in yam now, as if the yam would be able to survive with this invasion of African snail. I mean, the man is a total dunderhead.
Nothing not dunderhead. That is a nice word to say, man.
I think so, yes. I had to get another one, yes. I had one the other day. I make up a phrase, but I had so much that it slipped me, but I'll get it back.
All right, so let me leave the next caller.
My
so
friend.
pleasant good night.
All the public can say, since we talk about canal and talk about snail, I can say this canal slave or this canal snail. Yes, a pleasant good night to you, my friend. Go ahead. Mr. Trinity is off.
Right. Good night, Dr. Lennox Smith.
Good night to you, my friend. Go ahead.
The thing with the voters ID card and thing, right?
The voting list. Yeah.
Right. The first time 18 years to go in for ID card, right?
Yes,
Well, if them have to get a utility bill, we don't know that is a scam that come like the one the start of the election. They be straight. They done start the thief already.
Yeah.
Right? Because where an 18-year-old getting a light bill to go for a thing. So next thing, if you have to renew, right? And you have to get board paper to renew. You have to get utility bill to renew. That needs to be so. So if they bring in that, all that is to frustrate.
Yeah. But
because if you ain't have no utility bill, how are you going to renew your ID card? Right? So these kind of measures, them start to thief already.
And we must, of course,
and it's only blind
flag.
Yeah.
We must raise the red flag. We must raise the alarm now. And very good, of course, all of you recognizing what is happening. Go ahead.
Yeah, brother. All right. That'll be all for tonight. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That is despicable. How you come up with that? How you come up with that? We already have a concern, because I remember in 2007 when I contested under the UNCA with the same love, my own party, I wrote to the EBC indicating that there are people who, of course, have left Laventille and these places and are coming back in to influence the political outcome because they have not, of course, changed their addresses. I would think that a major exercise should be carried out by the EBC, employ people to make certain that people are living where they say that they're living by going house to house. Not to ask people, of course, to come with their utility bills, new and old. At present, good night, welcome.
Hey, Lennox, Smith, a pleasant good night to you and everybody on the live. Pleasant good night.
Yeah.
Well, Lennox,
Yeah.
let me just add to what is your last caller just said concerning you're going to renew your ID card or going to your ID card for the first time or your driver's permit and whatnot. So if you don't have a utility bill on your name, you know what is had happened here now? The next step is this. Whoever it is you're staying in the house with, whoever the bill coming to, that person had to write a letter giving you consent to use their utility bill in order for you to either apply for driver's permit or ID card for the first time or renewal. So whoever name it is a utility bill, them
So you
write
have
a
added,
letter.
so you have added it because I find it ridiculous and asinine that you're asking me for a utility bill to get my ID card when I need an ID card in order to get the utility bill. So you're going
backward
in a circle like a dog trying to catch its tail. That's what you're doing.
The driving with the handbrakes up, Lennox.
I never see that. That's a madness. And the way how things going now, it would be difficult for someone, I could see it, especially in these parts, for a person to trust someone to give them a letter to say that they are living here. I suppose mommy and daddy, if they are still home, I suppose that they have left home. Suppose they have left home and living elsewhere. I mean, this thing is too complicated. Go ahead.
Watch. You know what this thing remind me of? Remember that question you used to ask, which one come first, if it's the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
But that is what I do there.
That's right, yes. It's just like the dog trying to catch its tail. Yes. I hear you. Yeah. I mean,
we're
going to look at it. Caller, hold on. We have missed a point. Oh, he's gone. All right, go ahead, caller.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
Good night to you as well.
I did raise that with you, if you recall, a couple of weeks ago concerning the EBC and they're requesting all of these new requirements to give you an ID card. It is my concern again, however, with respect to those people who, through no fault of their own, are absolutely homeless, but they possess an ID card and they possess a birth paper. Have they been disenfranchised?
But this is what, well, effectively, this is what I see this thing is heading to. You are disenfranchising a group of persons who are citizens. They have their birth paper, and it is on that basis so you must, of course, take the information and nothing more. And then, of course, the other things will follow. They will get their driver's permit. They will get, of course, maybe a bill. They will take on a bank account, etc. Just now they go ask them for a bank account when they don't even have a blasted ID card.
But we're talking about people who might be perfectly sane, have all the documents, but actually homeless.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. So how do they qualify for a renewal or indeed a new ID?
Yes. Apart from that.
And no one will entertain such a person off the streets to simply give them a letter to, of course, to say that they are residing here because the person, ironically, is a street. That's right, is a street dweller. So you're really committing a fraud there.
An offense.
Yeah, an offense.
And we must understand that the majority of the homeless people who are sane could not support the government. Obviously, the government is the reason they're homeless. Now, if you recall, in earlier times, only landowners were permitted to vote.
Yeah, I saw the history. I saw the history on women.
So have
women,
we now gone back to that?
But
Is
it
that really
appears
taking
so
us
because
back
you must
to?
have some kind of stability indicator because the land was supposed to be you stable, you can make a contribution, etc. Just now they might tell you you have to have a firm understanding of the English language.
Well, I mean,
Is that
if they
ridiculous?
really
Yeah.
if they really want to be honest, but this will cause them to lose the election, of course. Then, if you are not in possession of an active BIR number, then you shouldn't be allowed to vote because a government is put in charge of taxpayers' money, and if you're not a taxpayer, why should you be allowed to vote? It stands to reason.
No, well, obviously, I'm saying that all of those could be put in the mix. All those are variables. All those are nuances that, of course, can be to justify that asinine decision to, of course, have a qualification criteria that includes, of course, an address by virtue of a utility bill and whatever else that could show that for the purposes of showing that you are in fact living where you say you are living. That is a madness. That's chaos.
Thing. That's stupidity. But the thing about it is, after spending $1 billion taxpayers' money to prove the quality and to prove the quality and
Mr. Trincity, hold on.
impeccability.
We have Mr. St. James on the line. Go ahead, Mr. St. James.
Yes, so after they would have spent $1 billion worth of taxpayers' dollars to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Kamla Prasad Bisesa government was the most honest, trustworthy, hardworking government we ever had, and it's $1 billion that they spent to prove that. So that discussion to all and sundry should be well and truly over. Nobody should be able to come forward now and make any stupid, spurious allegation against any member of that government or its cabinet. And now they find themselves in deep water.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is, he said earlier today that they were going to try to pursue the Dragon Gas deal by appealing to the new administration of America.
You see that? He's still on that?
Yes.
But
and all Donald Trump has to ask him is, why don't you purchase the oil from Guyana? And when we remove Maduro, you're free to buy oil from Venezuela. So you should not have closed down Petrotrin, you damn fool.
That's right. That's right. And he reminds me very stick-to-itively, comprehensively of that little toddler sees a hot pot of water on a table, his height, his or her height, and decides to gravitate to it. And no matter what mommy or daddy do, go in there, until eventually, of course, he or she got his way. And then, of course, we know what the results would have been. I think this man is totally burnt up. He has been insinuated. Yeah.
But he reminds me of a story that used to appear in the West Indian Readers. You recall the story of the ass in the lion's skin?
Yes. He
is exactly the ass.
Yeah.
In the
pretending
lion's
to be bright
skin.
and foolish, like according to my mother, in the back of a spoon.
Yeah.
And
You're putting on a 5,000 pound suit to look like massa.
Yes.
And you have and if you walk in front of a mirror, the stark reality hits you.
Of course. Yes.
You're not massa.
These bunch of Don Quixotes.
Yeah. You're an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
You're an Uncle Tom.
Yeah, a dragon is a beast, a windmill, and of course going and fight it. And that's what he has done to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. And he tells Massa, Massa, I'm not able again. You take it over. Here, take it. Look them there.
Yes,
Go with them.
the Chinese man. Yes, indeed.
Go
Thank you
with
very
them.
much for that very interesting.
No, Lennox. You see, I want to raise the point about the Chinese man, if you would allow me.
Go ahead.
This Chinese man tarnished because of his association with that bunch of criminals that he's associated himself with. I make this point to say, if Kamala Prasad Bisesa steps down tomorrow and she puts David Lee in charge of the UNC and says, okay, you run for political office, leader, and become the political leader. Not a dog will bark, because David Lee has been proven, based on the $1 billion spent, to be of impeccable integrity, thanks to the PNM. So David Lee is not a Chinese member who will fall in the same category as that idiot, that other idiot who they take, like if the PNM membership is a goat, and hold them by a rope and carry them and hand them to Massa and say, look that day. Because they got no opportunity to vote for a leader for their own party. And they're good with that. Kill them there, they're good with that. Yeah?
Yeah. And of course, they will have to explain, of course, to the rank and files who have been fed, I mean, a very, what I consider to be toxic, or should I say, putrid doses of racial undertones to suggest that there is a black man party. I don't know how we handle that. This man is so toxic. This man is so cursed that he has, of course, whilst it would have been a prediction and one that may have been nestled in common sense logic based on his performance, now he has removed all doubt that the PNM has to be relegated to the dustbin of political history for the damage it has done to the psyche of the African community, particularly along the East-West corridor, Labre, and of course Point Fortin.
But you have to admit that they brought that onto themselves, eh?
Oh yes, well,
I mean,
self-inflicted. And I want to use the word loosely as well, but very relevant. They shoot themselves in both feet.
Yeah, they did.
Yes,
they did.
All right, thank you.
And I want to thank you. And I want to thank you.
Yes, thank you as well. I want to thank you for that very hilarious interlude. Mr. Trinity, go ahead.
Yeah, Lennox.
Yes.
I just want to bring something to your attention.
Go ahead.
Concerning this ID card.
Yes.
No, it is factual. So, because this is what happened to someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They applied for the ID card as normal. So, but what happened? They were new renters in this place, and they so happened that the officials had to come and do a home visit to make sure that the person living there or whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, that person wasn't there at that time. Probably it was a day in the week, or who knows, went to work or whatever. That particular building was closed up, and they went to the neighbors to ask, if there's so-and-so person living here or whatever.
Yeah.
And the neighbors and them say, well, we really know these people. So cut a long story short, person went back in the office and they say, I thought you're not living there.
But that is
but I don't know what's
going to happen. And let me tell you this, traditionally,
and I don't know what would take place after that.
Yeah, but I'm aware that around election time, there is a plethora. There is, of course, an increase in activity for people wanting to regularize or get their ID cards and so on. And traditionally, the EBC would normally accommodate. They expect to get an influx of course, persons looking to get their ID cards or in other words, to prepare for the elections. How come the EBC are so inflexible at this point in time? And of course, it's clear that if you're looking to not only have them register, but you're going out there to see where they live as well. Is it a deliberate tactic to, of course, disenfranchise, as the last caller said, a certain section of the society? We have to look at that.
Yeah. Yes,
I think that may be more pronounced in those so-called marginal seats. Just having regard to the conduct of this government, they're looking at the marginal seat because they want to get at least, they don't mind getting 21, and they're good with that. So they will have, under extreme scrutiny and pressure, the EBC to make certain that there is no influx of persons, particularly in the marginal seats. Extraordinary amount of persons coming, of course, to register, because the PNM will perceive, or out of an abundance of caution, deny them, because they would believe that, of course, it's UNC that they're coming to vote for. Don't put that beyond these people.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because what I'm thinking now, out of the box a little bit here now, is that this EBC could use people IDs who let me say on a different social economic ladder, and they have nowhere to live. They're on the streets, as we should know, unfortunately, and use them ID cards and generate other people's name on it. If you understand what I'm saying. So there's a vote coming in there for them.
Yeah,
so these things we have to pay attention.
Let me tell you what I'm prepared to do. I'm going to write the EBC. I had to send a follow-up letter. Look, the one that I sent earlier is here. And this one, of course, talks about, of course, requests for access to official documentation pursuant of the Freedom of Information Act, the circumstances and or information with supporting documentation that led to the decision to engage, deploy, or otherwise contracted the private company Grand Bay Limited to dispose of for recycling electoral paper-based material or documents. Grand Bay. It was clear that they were given at least they had on their compound thousands of ballot paper just after the 2020 general elections. Grand Bay.
Well, my own was there.
Just now, ostensibly for recycling. And guess what? Grand Bay was the company, along with, of course, the trade union movement, that was given just so $5 million US in order to save their employees by Imbert and Rowley and they. That same company, Imbert, that same company, Grand Bay. And they send back and say they know about Grand Bay. However, to cover the tracks, here what they say, that they just give paper voluntarily and they name the company. So in other words, I have to assume that company that they give the paper to went and dumped it by Grand Bay, and therefore we cannot make a direct nexus between Grand Bay and EBC. That is what these people are engaged in. That's what they're engaged in. But I ain't finished yet.
All right.
This going straight
Lennox,
to the State Department.
When you go ahead, you do what it is necessary in order to save this country.
Yes, man.
All right, Lennox. I will listen off here.
Yes, indeed, of course. And finally, as I said, well, they cannot account for that. All the platitudes and all of the, what I consider to be so moral high ground talk that he spoke before the election. Listen to him again now. Listen to him what he says now and what his action is. And what these young people in particular, I want people in Laverton and these places to understand that what you're dealing with is a bunch of criminals. And of course, we know criminals more than anybody else. And you will have to determine whether or not this is a criminal act. When, of course, a man could tell you that he not telling you where he get the vaccines from, nor how much it cost. And, of course, all of these deals that he would have had with, of course, oil company, including, of course, the Venezuela, etc., and telling us there's non-disclosure clauses that, of course, prohibits him from, of course, disclosing to us in a democracy. Trump and them had to know this.
Because you are managing their affairs.
Listen to him. Listen to him. despicable, hypocritical.
Once you are in the political arena, you are available to be questioned by every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because you are managing their affairs.
Let me add again.
Once you are in the political arena, you are available to be questioned by every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because you are managing their affairs.
Yes, indeed.
Once you are in the political arena, you are available to be questioned by every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because you are managing their affairs.
Talking fat. That's what he's talking, fat. Because he doesn't practice that. He sent letters, of course, to CARICOM and the Commonwealth Secretariat in 2015, saying that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the likelihood that you will not confine it to a free and fair election. All of these people and more were brought in. He is telling you not once, not twice, that he is bringing no observers. He said that blatant for the local government. Blatant, and did not bring any. He constructed the non-presence of observers in the 2020 elections. You think he has any interest in bringing? Well, he said right now that he only bringing in what? CARICOM observers. But Laimo's wife is the Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM. One would have thought, having regard, of course, to Dr. Rowley's reputation of being blasted dishonest, of being a wicked man, of being anti-democratic, of course, undermining the electoral process. And don't tell me you don't know what the court said in 2015 in those, of course, election petitions when they said that Rowley communicated with the chairman of ABC to extend the time by 1 hour, and that was illegal. It was wrong. But of course, the elections adjudicators said, listen, all right, we will leave it so. It didn't make fundamental difference. Up to now, therefore, we don't know what was the benefit to the PNM on that occasion. From what we know, he don't do things just so. So when he said categorically that he not bringing in any other observers, we know clearly what he means. That he intends to thief the blasted elections, and we must resist that by doing what we have to do. What we have to do. President Knight, welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you as well, my friend.
So, Mr. Lennox, listen, I see the ground report getting some competition tomorrow. Please go on.
With whom?
Well, this idiot we as a prime minister having some conference tomorrow from 6 to 9 in the morning. So I say, okay, well, that's interesting.
well, I want him to know that, and all of them to know, that of course, they are entering where angels fear. Angels are all fear. So let him try. But of course, as per usual, all things that are evil will fail. All things that are evil. Oh, what a tangle web we weave when we first set out to deceive. And that is what he's getting his tail. So,
Mr. Lennox,
yes, go ahead.
You telling me after 10 years, you come to give the country yam? You can't even account for you cannot even account for $3.8 billion. That's what we get for 10 years. These crooks.
You're lucky he didn't add Dashin. You're lucky he didn't add Dashin. And then tell us that if we want protein, because you know those they call it Biafra, and of course the Ethiopian sword where they're potbelly children and so on that we used to see a long time. It was because of the lack of protein. So he tells us, well, go and collect all them African snails that are all over the place, and you have your protein there. So you eat protein, You get protein from the from the snails, and you get, of course, your carbohydrates and probably some sugar from the yam. That's the kind of dunderhead we're talking about. The man is bereft of any idea, any creativity. The man is a total failure and will not lie down and will continue, of course, like the child that I mentioned, going towards that hot canister of water, and eventually it falls on him. It will fall on him, but in his case, it's blue lights and blasted silver bracelets.
But boy, but thank God, well, he can't talk no banana talk anymore because the whole country make him out.
But the whole country
The whole
make him out.
country make him out.
And he put, of course, a Chinese now, maybe to talk about spaghetti and rice.
Yeah, boy, the Chindian. Yeah, I forget about the Chindian.
And of course, his protein gonna be dog. So people, make sure that your dogs are well tied, yes, and secured. This friggin' Chinese man. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Say it bow out.
Yeah. Blasted.
I go on and go goodness.
Yeah. People, protect your dogs. There's a Chinese man on the loose. Understand that. A Chinese man will only let on the loose. So we know that the PNM is totally disfigured and therefore has no relevance to any one of us who are in the masses, whether Indians or African in the masses, and of course even the minorities, those of course whites, local, Syrians, etc. Study Rowley and they and see if they empty your personal treasury with the nonsense of only, of course, beating people with taxes, beating you with taxes to eventual oblivion of Trinidad and Tobago as a democracy and as a society. And he has the audacity to come and say that people laughing at me. And he's so damn cocky and stupid. He doesn't know. He's talking about they're laughing at us because we're buying oil from Jamaica. You're so damn deceptive and dishonest. He knows fully well what it is. He knows that they are laughing at us because we have oil, we had and have now mothball oil refinery. Jamaica doesn't have oil at all, but have an oil refinery and selling us oil, and that is a perfect joke. Rowley and they could give competition to Larry Joseph and Tommy Joseph all in one. That is who they are. That is not just asinine. That is not just ludicrous. That is not just laughable. But it's a total joke. They have made Trinidad and Tobago, and I, as a loyal, committed citizen, must countenance these backsides that find themselves unmeritoriously in office. People, we have come to the end, of course. I gave you back, of course, the little time. It's 60 minutes past 10 o'clock. Don't forget, of course, we have tomorrow morning the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself, and whether, of course, we only want to give us competition. But I want to say once again that, of course, he wants to dare where angels fear. It's blue lights and silver bracelets. You could jump high, you could jump low. You could shift twice, you could shift once. It's irrelevant. You brought, of course, the idea of blue lights and silver bracelets into the domestic lexicon, and what's something? The man is leaving that position, having told us all of 10 years that wait and see. The UNC and them will, of course, be making a jail. You know, one of their nincompoopish can, of course, string a sentence together properly, but like a parrot could regurgitate anything Rowley and them say. He tried to play smart this morning by telling us, well, all right, $1 billion was spent to run down people who the DPP now say is waste of time, and that they have of course terminated the criminal part of it. But he trying to tell us that the civil part is similar to the criminal part. But it's the criminal part Rowley and them was talking about, you buffoon. Why else would they say, you buffoon, that listen, blue lights and silver bracelets, meaning that they had to make a jail. It's only in a criminal matter you could make a jail. You can't make no jail in civil matters. Civil matters is about, of course, money, cost. That's what it's about. Only money to pay back, money to as a punitive measure, etc. It is called damages. So don't try to insult people's intelligence because you come across like a person who is suffering from the Latin expression non compos mentis, of unsound mind, and clearly in a state of cognitive, intellectual, and cerebral decline. Go from here, especially those who have, of course, a penchant, a propensity, a proclivity, a tendency to still look at Rowley as some kind of political guru when he is a blasted political lunatic of a nefarious and criminal nature. In other words, the man is a recidivist criminal lunatic. And when, of course, blue lights and silver bracelets he would have been subjected to, it means that in one of those prisons, you will have to put a mental asylum for the criminally insane to accommodate Rowley. Because he will have money, he will have enough money to bill it and pay to stay in it. Criminally insane, a recidivist, and the others who are blasted, what I consider to be Makoram, or as the Bible would say, Judases. We wait impatiently to see how you would survive post Rowley, post the PNM in this country. I want to thank, of course, Kamala Prasad Bisasa for being so sincere, so resolute, as every day the PNM, of course, is sanitizing. Not that she needed any sanitizing in the first place, but sanitizing and collapsing on themselves as they tried, as they may, with our money, billions of dollars, to try to entrap, pervert the course of justice. All of that she got humiliate. There can be no greater humiliation than when, of course, Rowley went into the parliament and said that Kamala Prasad Bisasa, as Prime Minister, and her cabinet colleagues was contemplating to kill a journalist. You cannot have in more recent times a greater exhibition of the undermining of the criminal justice system, when, of course, Anand Ramlogan and Ramdeen was set up, paying, of course, through our or from our money, $10 million to Vincent Nelson, to Sully. Sully is too much of a euphemism. Let me use a dysphemism. To shut up the career of these men who have been working assiduously in the interests of the poor and downtrodden and those who are powerless in this country. They stay there, wouldn't spend a cent to help out somebody on the streets. They wouldn't spend a cent to develop an institution for young people. And when Rowley decides by his, of course, amateur golfing ability, and I had to see him to play. I never heard of him before, so I know that he's an amateur golfer or a want-to-be golfer. But he has a charity. He has a charity tournament where he makes some money. And guess what? To show you how perverse and how corrupt that these people are in terms of their thinking. You know, the money goes to vision and a mission. The money from Rowley's charity tournament goes to vision and a mission. Of course, the first thing those sycophants will say, well, so what happened to that? That is a charity too, and so on and so on. Well, I want to tell you what is wrong with it. It is wrong because Rowley, as a prime minister, have to be a total backside, an ass, to give his entire charity to an organization whose function it is to only deal with people when they come out of jail. You know what I say? I say the role and function, I ain't beating it because there is room for that kind of person, that kind of institution, but certainly as prime minister, you cannot put all your money in an organization that waits for people to come out of jail to further rehabilitate them or have them settled in the society. You have to be an ass. I'm sorry I'm not on Prince Street right now to tell him what I really want to say. At minimum, Rowley, it's your money. But at minimum, you must put at least part of that money towards an organization that prevents people from going to jail. You damn fool. So that it fits well. It doesn't have people like me who are extremely sensitive and observant, because all it tells me is that you're promoting blasted crime. Because a person has to commit a crime, go in jail, do the time, then come out and go by, of course, vision and a mission to get help. You're a madman. Why? So you can't find a football side to give part of that money? You can't find an early childhood center they could donate some of that money? Those persons like God Christopher and they, who on their own volition have facilities or had the facilities to accommodate and to assist those children who are doing CE, etc., and have a computer set up so that they could do their homework and so on, a home lesson center equipped with, they did it on their own. You don't know it's them, you have to blast it, hell by. You don't know that? You so wicked and stupid with your own money. Otherwise, don't do it. What you doing it for? You're waiting for people to go in jail. The jail has its own rehabilitation and of course, a counter rehabilitation problem. All right. When they come out now, your money goes to the vision and mission, but the only qualification a person must have is that they must go in jail first. You have to be a backside. You have to be a fool. You have to be a nincompoop. You have to be a hard-hearted and hard-headed individual. Look, next time, now that you're getting to hell out, happy riddance. Go and give a charity that prevents young people especially from going into prison. Go and do that. See how better you will feel. How better you will feel. It's not about you giving charity. It's equality, and as Prime Minister, that does not send the message for a fellow like me, who are trying my best without the resources and the opportunities that you have to prevent those young people from going to jail. Why you want to leave it up to me? And you of course, supporting people who could only function, trigger, when a person makes jail. This man is mad. This man is insane. This man is pathologically and therefore a sociopath of a recidivist nature, and therefore should be blue lights and silver bracelets. for the criminally insane at the appropriate time. But nonetheless, these events sanitize and of course vindicates the UNC and Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her stint, marvelous as it was, and as Rowley would say, milk and honey was flowing between 2010 and 2015. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. I'd see you, of course, tomorrow morning on the Ground Report. Andy, Mikey, and myself, as we continue with these and other matters. Let's get the youths to speak as we end, because of course the youths must understand that the country they save, that the country that they save will be theirs and is theirs.
Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, want a government-to-drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do good, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in city and tea, know without the ball head man everybody. BNM must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Hey, now everybody let's vote. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. They're only time to resign. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. When you see him waving bye-bye, everything's selling out. You're not working out again. It's only draw. Only like they will wipe out we name. Yeah, we want a government-to-drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do good, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in city and tea, now without the ball head man everybody. Rowley at to go. Tell them go. Rowley at to go. Now everybody let's vote. Vote them out. Vote them out. They're only time to resign. Vote them out. When you see him waving bye-bye.
Coming from the bosom of the Anglican diocese, doesn't matter how good you are, you can't have it. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very happy day for me and for all Anglicans, all members of the national community in Trinidad and Tobago. Because as you would have heard, when you discovered that this building which we have restored and are presenting to the national community in this weekend was almost pulled down. Even in thought, that was a reprehensible thought. But seriously, if sister building next door in Fleur came to be pulled down. Because when the government under the leadership of the cabinet took the decision to find the resources and the will to preserve our legacy, our priceless legacy. Today, I want to call on the bishop, to call on his colleagues to assume a greater responsibility in calling on the national community, especially parents, to take responsibility for their progeny. And not just raise them, let them loose on the national community. And hope that the teachers succeed, and worse, that the police succeed.
There are a variety of ways by which public officers steal public money. Usually, things are
out of the treasury into the pockets of the fortunate. In this situation of facing, somebody has seen that if you make claims and the claims are upheld, then payments have to be made to the claimant. The making of claims and the putting up of evidence is done by lawyers. And once you get settlement without proper defense, it is not business. That's what the Bible tells us. A business venture. Because uncle I know, you know what business venture is? A business venture appears to be operating in the Attorney General's office.
Once you are in the political arena, you are available to be questioned by every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago because you are managing their affairs.
Everyone's coming out to bring about change. I say I'm old, because we want a government to feel policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do work, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in city and tea, know without the ball.